Okay, everyone. It's 1 o'clock. Yeah. So this will be the last talking session about this VMware workshop. So from tomorrow, you will have this lab session. So first thing, I'm going to share the screen. And I'm going to show you this group. This is I get from Shirley. So this is group 1, which all the students which name here will do lab tomorrow. Okay, so this is a group number 1 I put here. Okay, this one is a group number 2. And if we follow schedule, group number 2 will do lab on the Friday. But based on what we see today, I believe tomorrow not everybody will join from group 1. So if you are from group 2, you want to join tomorrow's lab session, you can just come and join it. Okay, so I believe I sent everybody both meeting number. So tomorrow morning, if you want to come and have a look, if you will have empty space, group 2 can join group 1. Okay, so this is for tomorrow's lab session. Okay. Chat window here. Okay. Okay, so this is about tomorrow. So before we start this afternoon session, what I want to show you is I get one of this ESXi from the VMware website. And from the name, you can just read it. This VMware ESXi. After that, it's just version number 7.0.0. And subversion number is 158, blah, blah, blah. And normally the ending are that sub number, that's all. This one is with something extra here. You see HPE and some other number, April 2020. So this HPE means HP, okay? If you search ESXi, HP, so HPE. So they have a dedicated version for HP server. If you search ESXi Cisco, they also has a dedicated ESXi for Cisco. Means they don't say Cisco server, they say UCS, right? Unified Computing Server, I believe that's the full name, UCS. Okay. So your question may become, say, what's the difference between regular ESXi or what's the special for this HPE? Really, it's nothing special. Regular one comes with general driver. If you buy this, if you download this specific version, they are designed for HP server. So if you have HP server, you have some storage RAID control card. And this card may need a special driver, so everything will be built in with this version. If you bought a Cisco one or Dell one, you have a dedicated image for this ESXi. Okay, the first thing is you can download this or regular one from VMware website. You can just open an account and say, I want to try this product. Normally they provide you the license and the software. Second one is I'm going to give you a demo because yesterday someone asked me to say how to install this to your virtual machine or to the real machine. Because we don't have the real machine here, so that's why I decided to build a virtual machine to give you a demo. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Delete. Yeah, another thing is this is delete. Okay. Another thing I like VM is VM is really good for the different language. Their translation is good for at least for Chinese. Their translate between English and Chinese is really good. Not like some other company. You know that English to Chinese translation is really make me not look like the Chinese. Another one is some if you bought something from made in China, like some devices or some goggles, sometimes they come with a manual, right? User manual. Yes, I think someone bought a diesel heater from Amazon, and which is manufactured from China, and they have the small display with a button, but no. At least you should read the manual to see how to use it. And the local people said, this is not looks like English. Their translation also very bad. When they translate from Chinese to English, the people couldn't understand what this button for, what this function for. So like I said, sometimes if you have a good translation in the software, you can maybe easier to get your market in the different country. Okay, so because my operating system is Chinese, so they pick up the Chinese here. So it doesn't matter, I'm going to give you a demo. If you have an English version, that's totally fine. Okay, so first thing is now start learning Chinese. I'm going to build one new virtual machine. See, I couldn't find it. Sorry, this is a new virtual machine. When you use workstation, this is same as you use the ESXi. They have two ways. One is they will help you make the decision, right? Another one is you will make all the decision by yourself. So I'm say they will make a decision for me. And the first thing is if I want to make a decision for you, please tell me what you want to install. So normally if you have a bare bone PC, you will have a disk, right? DVD. You have two options. One is option from your real optical drive from my laptop, but now nobody has an optical drive. Second option said if you have an ISO file, that's fine. So okay, I can map ISO here. Here. So the last one said I don't want to install any operating system yet. Please just build a virtual machine for me. Okay. So I pick up the second one, which we use a virtual disk, which is this guy, to install ESXi. Same thing here. They ask you what is operating system you have. This is not Windows, Linux. This is a VMware ESXi. Version, this is 7, so it's a version 7. Next. You can give a host name, virtual machine name. You can put anything you like. Let's say 7. Next. Oh, yeah, I already built one, so I said 7-1. This asks, what's the size of your hard drive? By default, they say 142. I say, okay. And here they say, do you want to save 142 as a single file, or you want to break out to different multiple files? Normally, by default, second. Because they say single file, one file is 100, 200 gig. Maybe that's okay. But when you have one file is 2 terabyte, it's sometimes hard to move this virtual machine by using one pen drive. If you have the smaller size, you can copy twice from the pen drive from one machine to other machine. So we recommend you use multiple files. If you see CPU, RAM, if you don't touch it, they by default 2 CPU, blah, blah, blah. 4 gig RAM, say, okay, finish. So after that, they build one virtual machine for me. So at this stage, or that at this moment, you have your virtual machine or physical machine ready. Your optical disk already mounted inside optical drive, but you didn't start install anything yet. So that's why we say turn on the machine. Okay, from this window, now you see exactly what you will see inside the physical machine. Okay, when you mount this to the optical drive, or you have the pen drive, have this ESXi. When you boot up from the ESXi, you start having this orange, black window. And maybe someone curiosity about what's the size of this ESXi disk? 389 megabit, less than 400. So sometimes, we copy this to the pen drive and for easier install than the optical drive. So that means if you have 1 terabyte pen drive, it's more than enough for ESXi operating system. Okay. So this is installation steps. So what we see here on top, we say this is a VMware version 7.00, and kernel build version is this one. And what CPU here is said this guy has two Intel i7-8565U, which is this is my laptop CPU, right? And I have 16 gig RAM, so this guy took 4 gig RAM from my laptop. So this one is checking everything. Let's wait. So install ESX, I won't take you a lot of time, maybe five minutes, less than 10 minutes. You can have one PC ready. This back to the environment side. If you have a small company, your company bought 5 server, you can install them one by one, right? Because less than 1 hour, all the 5 server will be ready. So like our department, we have less than 10 server there. Okay, so here give enter. F11 accept. So back to here, our department only have this is a hard drive. You pick up the hard drive. Okay, back to their hard drive. Normally, this is I can go enter. This is 142 GB. Normally, you say enter, and keyboard US default password. Let me put password. I'm EI123. 3 F11 install. Okay, so back to there. So first thing is department has around 10 servers, big server. So what we choose is we choose use a pen drive to install ESXi to the physical server. That's one option. Second option is if you go to the huge company, normally they have 1,000, 10,000 PC. You cannot install this by pen drive one by one by one. So that's why they have another system called auto deploy system. Is you configure your server boot up from the DHCP server or boot up server. After they boot up, they will push the image to your server and boot up, install, everything will be automatic happen. So your job is to connect the network cable, configure the BIOS, make sure they boot up from network, power on, and you're done. So you don't need to go connect the keyboard, mouse, and kind of doing this typing job there. Everything will be automatic. So that's all. This is end of this installation. Now they say before you reboot, make sure you remove the installation media before you rebooting. Just remember, take your pen drive out or take your DVD disk out. And now they go rebooting. So reboot is also taking 1 or 2 minutes, very quick. Yeah, you may find I have a one virtual machine called CSR 1000V. This is a virtual router by Cisco. If you have a multiple of this router, you can do routing lab. Okay, so in our department, we have almost 700 of this VM that's dedicated for students to do their labs. So when you go architecture lab or technical, you will find you will use this part of this technology to do your lab. Okay. Still booting. Okay, so at this stage, they finish boot up. So let's have a look what we have here. The top one we already mentioned is what is a CPU, what is the RAM here. And on the bottom, that's the management interface and IPv6. So if we don't touch it, let's see if I can get access from my browser. Let's see. It's 192.168.168.134. Maybe not. 192.168.168.134. No, it's because this is like a kind of double NAT from my computer, and this virtual machine is in another NAT. So what if we can change the network configuration. Network, see, by default they say NAT. I can say bridge. Bridge means I will bring the virtual machine from the virtual layer network, from the virtual network layer to my physical laptop layer. That means my home DHCP server will give my laptop one IP address, give my virtual machine another IP address. So let's have a look. Okay, so get in. So by default, if you don't touch this screen, they will turn to black and until you go any key. So now let's go F2. They don't have two function key, F2 or F12. F12 means shutdown restart, F2. And put password here. Yeah, 123. This is back to yesterday what we talked. We can change the password. We can configure the management network. Management network is that GUI from browser. You can restart management network. Because I changed the network there, so now I need to let this guy find the new DHCP server or DHCP IP address. I may say restart management network. Yes, F11. They will say stop, start, done. Okay. You can also test management network. They will send a ping to whatever host you want to check. Oh, sorry, get out. Have to. Network restore option is if you did something really wrong. For example, this morning we talk about if you put the management interface into a distribute switch and you lost your vCenter, something wrong with your distribute switch, you lost all the connection. The option here is you can come here, say network restored option, you enter, they will put your management interface back to the basic configuration. Okay, so next one is keyboard. You have US standard. Troubleshooting option is you can enable ESXi shell, means allow you SSH. You can enable SSH here to do deep troubleshooting. System log, support information here, and reset system configuration. This is they have warning on the right hand side. This is when you try to retire this server. So the best option is go here, reset all the configuration. Means it will do the self cleaning for yourself. And okay, back to here. Now my config network management network back to 10. You see the IP address is 10.0.0.194 because I decided to use 10 as my home network. Not that crazy, right? And you may say, oh, wow, 10 is a class A. You have a big class A. No, no. I use 10.0.0 something, but my subnet is still 24. So I'm still talking about 254 devices. So instead of use 10.192.168, because when I'm typing, 10.0.0 is much easier typing than 192.168.1. something. Okay, so that's why I decided to use this one.
Sorry, Dajang. So this IP came from your DHCP server, yes, your local DHCP server
Yes.
in your. Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, this is one way. Another way is, in the production network, in the OOB, you don't want to have a DHCP. Why is because you don't want someone have your laptop plug into your management network and your DHCP will say, oh, welcome, this is a new IP for you. You can join our management system. No, that's why for lots of system management there, they don't have DHCP. So that means you need to have a manual IP. So in most cases, if we don't have the DHCP enabled, you can go config management network, enter. And you can go network adapter because this is only one physical, virtual, physical NIC card here. You have a server, you may have a big list, 4 or 8 of the different interface. And you may say, certain interface is belong to outbound management. Okay, for me, this is only one NIC here. And next one is VLAN. If you have VLAN, you can put VLAN number, otherwise keep it empty. You go IPv4. Here is a DHCP, but you can put on statics, right? You can put statics IP if you want. And also IPv6. Like I said, we don't run IPv6, so normally this one I put disable. You also need to point the DI server. So it's 10.0.1, and this is your domain. So you can see I have a local domain and the dynds.org domain. So there's 2 domain here. So that's everything from this window. You will see, because I changed IPv6, they say, do you want to reboot? Maybe I said no. That's all from this GUI side, which we call the DCUI, right? It's a long name. It's a yellow page. Really nothing you can do here. You just make sure you have good IPv4. If you don't need IPv6, just disable it. And that's all. You can reboot, reset your management network, and that's all. You won't see any VM built on top. You won't see the fancy feature licensing. All this feature is not here. So that's why if this is your physical server, at this stage, you can disconnect your keyboard, disconnect your mouse, disconnect your monitoring, and just insert your server to the server rack. Keep it, because from this window, until some disaster happen, you won't get a chance to come back to do something. So because they are on the same layer as my laptop, now I try to use my laptop to get access to this guy. Right, 10.0.194, enter. Self signature issue, okay. See, this is the latest, which we say vSphere client interface, but you remember we use software, now is GUI based. I put root, I put password, MEI. And this is the plugin. This is if you open this host client, oh sorry, this document, not plugin. Okay, go login. No, don't join. Okay, so this is my ESXi server. So should be a physical, but now I turn it become a virtual, right? It's inside my laptop. So I logged in from my browser to that virtual machine. Okay, you can see I have a CPU, RAM, storage. They say you have HP image, so they just put some message here. Okay, so in that case, I can build a virtual machine inside this virtual machine, which is on top of my laptop if I want. Okay, some local storage is SSD. Network by default, you have virtual switch. You have one virtual switch which called vSwitch 0, and you have some port groups, a VM network, which is facing to VM virtual machine. Management network, which is you have IP by login 194. This is the management network. If I click, see, they have the 194, which is management network. Okay, so this is kind of the brief talking about how to do this inside your laptop. Okay, so if you want to try it, you can let me know. Okay, any question about that ESXi part? Looks like we are okay here. Okay, before we talking this, let's talking a little bit of that workstation. Because you use workstation almost anytime you can, but ESXi vCenter server, not every day's job, right? Network. So understand what's happening inside your laptop is more important than understand what is a vCenter running, right? So let's try to see. This is good diagram. So before you see, I click something, right? I change it from NAT to bridge, and suddenly I get access before I don't get access. So you may wonder, you say, what's happening there in your laptop, right? Okay, so let's have a look here. I bring my pen. Oh, this guy. This pen. Here. Oh, that one. Let me see if I can bring my own laptop's configuration to you. Okay, here. After you install for the Windows, after you install VMware Workstation, normally you will have something like this: VM 1, VM 2, VM 8. Okay, just remember this is not something. It's just from your VMware Workstation, the S3 uh, network card inside your laptop or desktop. Okay, so remember you have 1, 2, 8. Okay, let's go have a look here. Here is a little bit different, but the concept are the same. Okay. So first thing, when you build a virtual machine, right, the virtual machine need to talk to someone, maybe talking to the outside, maybe talking to another virtual machine. And first thing is, if you don't want this VM talk to the outside world, you can build some network VM net, which is just between the VMs. Or it can be just an isolated environment. Maybe you want to try some virus or some dangerous stuff. So you don't want traffic leaking to the outside to the internet. So you can build something just for testing purpose. Which this one called host only traffic. And this one is host traffic only traffic. So host only traffic means only between VM to VM or even just one cell, one itself, not talking to anybody. So this is called VM host only traffic. Okay, from this side, if your VM need to talk to the outside world, what we can do here, we can have NAT. This is NAT. That's one option. Second option is bridge. Okay, by default, all the VM have a NAT. All the VM use a NAT. Okay, so what's NAT happening is, if this is my PC, and let's say I get only one IP from my DHCP server. So if I have one IP, I cannot share this IP with this guy because I only have one IP. So the only option left is I'm going to use NAT here. And this will get some different IP, will be 192.168, 192.168. And they go through this NAT. And they only share this one IP which I have in my physical PC and send it out, talking to the outside world. Okay, give me a second. Okay, I just need to charge my pad here. Okay, so this is a NAT. And when we say, oh, here's my pen. Oh, sorry. Looks like I lost my pen here. Okay. Yeah, this is another funny thing here. I running out of my power of my this pad. So I plug a USB cable. I plug a USB cable to my laptop, and it's not working. If not working, you start troubleshooting. So this is something happen when you have the VM workstation. Let me share it with you. Oh, here. Okay, anyway, when you have VM workstation running, and when you plug anything, USB pen drive or this board, normally they pop up a window. I think the window is already gone. I can try again. Unplug it, plug it. Okay, when you plug any USB, you get something like this window. This is a Chinese one, but doesn't matter. What they ask you said, do you want to connect your USB to your physical PC, or do you want to connect it to any of these virtual machine? There's one virtual machine running, which is ESXi. If you don't answer it, this device will hanging on between your physical machine and your virtual machine, not plug into anybody. So now this guy plug into my physical laptop. So that's why I have my pen on. Okay, why I'm saying that is even I use VM for 10 years, more than 10 years, I have this guy here. Sometimes, I remember a few days ago, we have a Zoom meeting. Something wrong with my USB hub because USB hub connect to my speaker and network. I unplug my USB hub and plug USB hub back. And because the meeting is running and I still don't have my this microphone here. I say, what's wrong here? Because I'm under pressure, right? What's wrong here? Why is it not recognized? Try unplug, plug again. No, not working. So finally we find this is a VMware, because when you plug in, they will say, okay, what is your USB headphone? What is your USB network card? Where you want to plug them? If you don't answer, they will hanging on there waiting for your decision. So like I said, even I use this for 10 years, sometimes you still forget what's happening there. Okay. Yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah. Where I am, okay. Here. Oh yeah, this is about about I running out of the battery and I start charging, and we start talking about USB pen drive here. Where I start? Oh, here, this night. Okay, now the pen back. Okay, forget about this part. What's wrong? No color. Yeah, colors here. No. Still very strange about this. Okay, I use my Bluetooth maybe. No. Things getting weird now. Okay, I'm going to run this again. Sorry about that. Try again. No. Okay, in that case, this become a big issue now. Without this pen, I cannot teach. Let's see what I can do here. Give me a second. Okay, no, this one is not working. So you see, sometimes if technology not working, I'm in trouble. I don't understand why. Okay, let me check my OneNote. Yeah, OneNote is okay. Okay, if OneNote is okay, that's simple. I can just copy this picture, put in the OneNote. Yeah, good. Finally, something is working here. So, okay, let's try to understand what's happening. For this VM, because it's like a testing environment, they don't need to talk to outside, so don't need to care about that part. Now the VM need to talk to outside. You have two options. One is called NAT, one is called bridge. So what's the NAT mean? NAT means this guy will get different IP from another DHCP server, but finally all the virtual machine on top share the IP with your physical machine. You have one IP, all the VM top share one IP and send out. Bridge means, like I said, bridge means you have kind of the switch. You have a virtual switch. When this network get in, your computer get one IP and your virtual machine get another IP from the outside DHCP server. Okay, so that's why sometimes I say, if I draw like this way, if this is my laptop, if I have NAT, so normally I have a NAT and all the VM is on top. So if I have a bridge, it looks like I move my VM from here to here. So in that case, the VM and my physical PC will be in the same level where I use bridge. From the outside, the DHCP server looks like you have two machines, one laptop, one virtual machine. Even they don't know this is a virtual machine, they assume you have two machines here. Okay. So you may ask, why we have these two options? Why we need it? When we should use it? Give you an example here. Very basic, simple example will be if you are doing research or whatever inside your company, and the network manager said one IP per PC policy. That means from their DHCP server, they only give you one dedicated IP for yourself, for your laptop. So if you put on a bridge mode, your VM may go outside, say, where's my IP? And your network manager will say, no, there's no extra IP for you. Only one IP, one PC policy. No second IP for the same physical PC. So in that case, only option left is your NAT. But NAT also has an issue here because when we first build our ESXi, and this is behind that, we have now NAT 2168. And because my PC is outside 10.0.0 something, because we have a NAT between my PC and the virtual machine, it's really hard to talking this way. Okay, it's very hard or even impossible to talking this way, but talking outside is easier. That's because the NAT, you're talking from inside to outside, very easy. Talking from outside to inside, it will be super hard. Okay. So that's why I said, okay, this is hard. That's why I bring this ESXi, use a bridge mode to here. And in that case, I get one IP from my PC, I get extra IP from my VM. They are in the same level. So now I can easily talking between these two, PC and VM. But in that case, my DHCP should not care how many IP I have, right? So DHCP will say, if you have a new device, I give you a new IP. I don't care you belong to someone or not. No policy there. Okay. So this is two-way. One is NAT, one is a bridge. So if you are doing this from home, you will find ISP provide internet to your home or the building, and your entire home will only get one IP here. Right? And what's happening? You have a Linksys router or Netgear router, Wi-Fi. and you have some people use laptop here, right? And everybody get IP address. Let's say 192.168.1 dot something. But remember, you are facing outside is one IP. So this is called NAT. So like I said, if I use bridge mode, I have one laptop, I have one virtual machine. So everybody is facing to the same link sys router. They're in the same level. If I use NAT, that means behind my computer, there's a NAT. And there's another network, maybe 192.168.22 dot something. And my VM will be here. So for the VM, what we say, we say this is double netting because one NAT happening on your ISP to your home. Second NAT is happening from your laptop to your VM. So VM is two NAT away from your real public IP address. Okay, so we say this is double netting. And if you play Xbox, like a Microsoft Xbox, the gaming console, if you get chance to log into network setting, you say test my network. And after testing, they may say you are one NAT behind this public IP, or sometimes they say you have two NAT, double NAT behind the IP. Okay, so this is two netting. You have more netting, the network become like more hide behind the public. Sometimes it's good for the security, but it's not good when you have a web server. If you have a web server, there's really hard to do the port forwarding to have the service facing to the outside. If you are a web client, no problem. But if you try to provide some service, you have NAT, you need to have a more policy there. Okay. One NAT. So, okay, if we start talking about NAT, let's talking a little bit more here. Let me bring a browser here. So, everybody know Starlink, you know, Tesla, Elon Musk. So if you know Starlink, which is satellite internet, right, global satellite internet, and if we check, and you may say someone has discussed this, said Starlink use called the CGNet, and you may wonder and say, what is a CGNet? No, I'm on Starlink. Okay, the full name for the CGNet should be carrier grade net. Okay, they say CGN or CGNet. If we check the picture, what's that means not net only happening inside your house, the net also happening inside the service provider. Okay, so if you go, let's talk here. So CGNet means if I have ISP, so this ISP don't have enough IP for public IP for everybody's home. The only option left is CGNet. They are doing the same net, but happening inside ISP. So ISP may say, I have 10, let me say that, I have 10 public IP. Behind that, I have 1,000 home. So how to map this 1,000 home to that 10 public IP? This we call the CGNet. Okay, and this is one NAT. After that, when the ISP gave you the IP here, you have one IP, and in your home, you still do another NAT. And after that, if you have your laptop and you check your connection, your laptop may say, I'm double netting, I'm behind two NAT. So one NAT is on the ISP side, one NAT is inside your home router or Wi-Fi router. So if you run a virtual machine behind another virtual NAT, so your virtual machine is 3 NAT away from internet. Okay. So this is about netting. CG9, okay, CG19 happening in India, I know that because, sorry, why I know that, it's also happening in China. But first thing is, in our country, we have very limited IPv4 resources, but we have lots of people, lots of house there. So ISP don't have enough, public IP. So the only option left for the ISP is CGNet inside ISP to save some, to serve more people. Okay, so in Canada, we don't have this issue, right? In Dalhousie, we have a Class B network. That's why if you get a chance, come, no, you will have a chance to come, right? Come to campus, connect your laptop, connect your cell phone to their Wi-Fi network, and you will find all your device has a public IPv4 network, IP address, right? This is a luxury here because we have a lot of empty IPv4 we can use. But in our country, China, India, the ISP under pressure, they don't have enough IPv4 IP address. Some of the students from India or China may facing some issues like this. If you are, let's draw this one. Later you will find this issue. You use your laptop, connect to your ISP from your home to ISP, ISP connect to internet, and internet connect to Dell, and connect to our lab. Because I'm keep monitoring this connection here. So what I find is when user log into router, and after a few minutes, the student will say, sir, I lost the connection. I get a connection refused. So when I log in again, I find actually the user's IP is always changing from one IP to one IP to one IP. It's actually not happening on your laptop. So this is happening inside your ISP because ISP mapping all this person to, like, say, 2 IP here. So for example, the first connection you build to ISP through this IP to Dell, and you build your second connection. So second connection, maybe your ISP said, okay, I'm going to use second public IP to help you get connection. And later they will say, okay, this one looks like nobody use it. I'm going to move it, and I'm going to redirect you to second IP. This is okay when you browse a website, but when you have a dedicated connection between you and our lab, anything change between source and destination, we will kick you out. Means we don't trust this is the same connection. So that's why when ISP start shifting your public IP from their side, you lost your connection. Okay, so this is something we figure out inside ISP. Sometimes they just randomly give you IP for browser one page. When you browse the second page, when you browse second page, they give you another IP. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it's making a lot of issue here. So in that case, you have a few options. One option is go through ISP and you buy a VPN service. Because VPN almost can guarantee you have some fixed IP instead of the IP jumping between the inside ISP. So maybe VPN service is a better option for someone if you have the trouble to get a connection to the router. Okay. Okay, so this is about NAT and the bridge inside your workstation. Okay. Right. So back to here. So this afternoon we are going to talk about is storage. Storage concept, iSCSI, NFS, VMFS, virtual SAN, virtual volume. Most popular topic is iSCSI. Okay. Storage concept. Yeah. So what's happening here? The basic storage concept is we already know what is this, right? This is your physical server. On top, you have your ESXi. On top of ESXi, you have virtual machine with Windows, Linux, Red Hat, and on top you have service, email, database, and you build this. And the question is, you don't put anything inside the local storage. We try to centralize them. That's why everything will go through some kind of the network and send it to. No, this one is some has the local, I think. No, yeah. Directly attached means local. You can have your local storage if you build it reliable. And if you have just one ESXi, that's fine. Okay, you can have a directly attached. If you try to centralize the storage, you may go fiber channel, or you go FCOE means fiber channel over Ethernet, or you can use iSCSI means SCSI protocol over internet, iSCSI. And you can have NAS, or you can have SAN. Okay. So when you have this physical storage device, on top you need to pick up a format. So normally we say this will be format as VMFS, which is dedicated for VMware. If you run Linux, you may want to have some NFS storage. Okay. So this is a storage protocol overview. So from this side, we have fiber channel, F5 fiber channel over Ethernet, iSCSI, NFS, DAS, virtual volume. Let me plug this to my. And vSAN. vSAN is a technology belong to VMware. So we will have a brief talk. So like I said, the most popular one, iSCSI. And if you have a huge company or your company has a lot of money, you may have this one, fiber channel. Okay, so let's see. Boot from SAN supported. Only remember FC, FCOE, and iSCSI supported, not NFS, not vSAN. vSphere vMotion, almost everybody supported. High availability, almost everybody. Distribute resource scheduler or schedule, it's almost everybody. Raw device mapping, most of them, now this vSAN. So what's this? Boot from SAN. Let me see if I have. Okay, let's talk about this. Boot up from SAN supported. So what I did this afternoon at the beginning is I built a virtual machine. And inside virtual machine, I built a hard drive. And this one is 142 GB. And I install ESXi inside. Same idea as you have a hard drive, you install Windows 10 inside, and you have your Windows 10 running. This is but in the production world or in the enterprise world, normally we don't do this. Okay, what we do here is we buy a big server. And if you say this is I start my business, I just have one server to run ESXi, that's okay. So normally in the front of this server, you have all the hard drive enclosure. Right? You can put all this as your storage, and maybe 10 terabyte. If you get a chance to see a server, normally in the front is all the hard drive tray. But if you are the guy, you say, okay, I'm going to install ESXi. Let's say you have two options. Let's put a disk. You have optical drive, and you put the disk to the server. You power it on, and the ESXi will say, where you want me to install it? You say, okay, not much option left, only one big storage, 10 terabyte. And please install this to 10 terabyte ESXi. Okay, after install, ESXi took in 500 megabit. So you still have 9.99 terabyte available for your VM. And after that, you build VM, everything's running okay. But if you say this is a good design, I will say, no, this is only a working design, not a good design or the best design. What will be the best design or better design is when you order the server from HP, Dell, Cisco, whatever, you tell them, say, I'm going to run ESXi. So normally they say, oh, how many VM you have? You say, I need a 10 terabytes for my VM. So they give you this configuration. And plus they will say, do you need have a SD card? Or do you need have a special USB built-in? And you may say, what is this for? Normally they say, okay, 32 GB SD card or 32 GB USB pen drive. Do you want to have one built-in? If you don't know, you say, why I need something like this? This is strange, right? If you talk about Cisco, most Cisco server, Blade server has a built-in slot. So you can plug this SD card. And HP server has built-in this one plus pen drive. Second. A new question may say, why I need something like this tiny one? I need a 10 terabyte for my VM. Actually, the good design is this way. You mount your ESXi disk or USB pen drive from outside. So when the ESXi is scan the entire storage, the ESXi will give you a list, 10 terabyte, 32 GB. And you may say, please install the ESXi to 32 GB device, SD card or USB pen drive. Do not install anything to the 10 terabytes. Okay, so in that case, this 10 terabytes is dedicated for your VM, not for your management, because ESXi we consider as a management layer. So the good thing here is you isolate your ESXi management software with your VM. You may say, why we want to do that? It's simple because maybe one day this is not reliable. If this one gone, that's okay. All the VM are still here. How to fix it? You have another SD card, you reinstall ESXi, everything back in half hour. And another one is if this one getting something wrong, but your management system is okay. So you still have a chance to log into ESXi to troubleshoot your 10 terabyte storage pool. Okay, so that's why when you have a chance, you put ESXi to the smaller SD card and USB drive for management layer. And the big storage pool is dedicated for VM. So don't mix them together. At the beginning, if you don't have option one hard drive, that's fine. You install ESXi to that hard drive. You will later build VM on top of the hard drive. Okay, but if you have chance, use two different storage technology. Now the next layer is boot from Sun. You say, what's that? Same concept. You buy a server. Let's say this time the server comes with no hard drive. Okay, no hard drive. You say how to install ESXi. Pen drive, SD card, and the server or the customer or your boss said, no SD card, not allow you have an SD card. I want this PC only come with CPU and RAM. That's all. No storage built-in. And you may say, oh, in that case, how can I install ESXi and VMware to this machine? That's why we need to have a switch, network switch or fiber channel switch. After that, you have a dedicated storage. So you can have a basic configuration, basic config inside this big server from the BIOS. Say, first boot up priority will be network, and you may give some parameters. Say where is the storage. So when this server boot up, this server will go here and grab the hard drive. It can be a tiny size for your ESXi, or it can be a big size for your VM. It can be 10 terabytes long for your VM, or it can be 32 GB for your ESXi. But everything is inside your storage system. And you may say, looks like fancy, but we rely on the network. So what's the benefit for that, right? You have limited bandwidth between storage and the computer. You have a lot of issue. Why we want to design like this one? Design like this one has some benefit. If you get a chance to go, or you take a chance to take a data center workshop or whatever, you will see we have a Cisco blade. So this is in the front. Okay, so this is a big box here. So in the front, they have 8 slot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And on the bottom, they have a 4 power supply. And in our configuration, all this blade server without any storage, no SD card, no hard drive. So everything will boot up from the storage system. So the benefit for that is if my blade server number went down, I can immediately grab another server, took this guy out, plug another server in, without touch any configuration, my entire system will be come back, right? You say, why it's like this? Because remember, your ESXi is installed outside of this box. Your data are outside of this box. So if you replace this server, what you replace? You replace CPU and you replace your RAM. And your hard drive will be same. So hot swap, your system will be come back in a few minutes. Okay. But the old one is, if this one is a server with hard drive, what's happening? You take this guy out, you put your hard drive to the copy or cloning machine, you're going to clone the hard drive to a new server and put the new server back to this slot. Maybe take you a half day to recover this service. So that's why we try to isolate between CPU, RAM, and hard drive. Okay. So if you have this kind of network design, so make sure you pick up something support boot from Sun. Okay. For our department, we use iSCSI. Okay. Because FC is so costly. FCOE is, if you don't have FC, you don't need to do anything on the FCOE. Yeah, so iSCSI will be the good balance for our department. Next one is about data stores. So a data store is a logical storage unit that can use disk space on one physical device or span several physical devices. Like I said, VMFS will be your first priority. NFS, if you can, try to avoid it. Okay, because we use VM environment, VMFS will be the best. So this store are used to hold virtual machine file template ISO image. Yeah, we understand if this is a storage device, we can put VM here. And you can put template. Later we will say what's the difference between template and VM. Template is a VM, VM is a template. Even some ISO image. So tomorrow when you do your lab, you will find inside this storage, I also have some folder, and inside I have some disk, like Windows Server 2008 disk, virtual disk. So you can mount the disk to the virtual machine. This is about the VMF version. This is a version 5. They have some size. You can have 1 megabit block size, and the sub block size can be 8 kilobyte. This is just some detailed numbers. Now they have VMF 6. So you can compare them. Here is same VM. When you save the VM, you save as a folder, right? Manifest is you can use on the Linux, same thing. Okay, it's just different storage. On top is also folder, nothing special. Next one called raw device mapping. How to understand the raw device mapping here is, if I have a server, let's say I have ESXi, I have two virtual machine, and this two virtual machine goes through ESXi. ESXi can kind of doing the translation job, and they will took some space from this hard drive. Which means if you know someone doing translation for you, it slow your speed. That's why sometimes you can say, I want to have a raw device. I still have one hard drive. I can add second hard drive. You have a first virtual machine, second virtual machine share from this hard drive. But for the third virtual machine, if I say I want to have a dedicated hardware version speed, I don't want anybody doing the translation. You can physically, not physically, you can map this physical hard drive to the VM. So even the virtual machine is a virtual, if this PC is a virtual machine, but you can actually mount a physical hard drive to this virtual machine to give all the speed I/O to this virtual machine. It's dedicated for this virtual machine. So sometimes we say this is your raw device. Okay. vSAN overview. So vSAN belong to VMware. This is some technology we don't use. It's because I don't want to use it. You may ask why I don't want to use it. The technology, first thing, let's talk about this technology. Technology is if you have VM environment, what do you have? Server, which is ESXi, lots of them, maybe few of them. And you have a shared storage. Everybody talking to this shared storage. The issue here is shared storage costs you a lot of money. 100K for the small company, 100K is a lot of money. Some company may say, I just have few ESXi. I don't want to spend 100K for one storage. So VM said, okay, I provide you another solution here. Instead of you have a dedicated storage system, let's use something we already have. You have one ESXi host, you have two ESXi hosts, and you have three ESXi hosts. And pay attention of this number, 3 to 64. So the minimum number is 3. So at least you should have 3 ESXi hosts. And inside ESXi host, you must have some SSD and some hard drive, means mechanical hard drive, for each of this physical server. So on the VM layer will say, we will run a virtual SAN layer. So what's happening is they will aggregate all this SSD and HD become one big pool. Okay, they will aggregate this part, become a one huge storage pool, and they present this through this layer to the VM. Okay. So in that case, you combine CPU, RAM, and storage together, right? You plus everything together. Looks like this is a very good idea. I say, yes, it's a good idea to save small companies money. They have a few limitations here. First thing is minimum is 3. Less than 3, you cannot have this kind of visa. A maximum number is 64. You have a huge storage you need to have. Maybe 64 even not enough for you. So that's why they say this is only for small to medium company, right? If you have a large company, this is not for you. Later we will say why is 3. You may say, can I have 2 or can I have 1? First question, first answer is for 1, you don't have visa. 1 means you have 1 box, everything is local storage. That's fine. You don't have any technology here. So why not 2? Let us say we have 2 here. We have 2. We use 2 to build vSAN. We aggregate this part as a storage pool and we present this to the top. And just remember, if you have a 2 hard drive, you cannot make it very reliable until you have you duplicate data. That's another story, but you lose the performance. Here, let's say I have a data 1 0 1 0 1 0. I need to write to this pool. What's happening? They write 1 0 1 0 1 0. So when you do reading, you do 1 0 1 0 1 0. But in case you lost one ESXi host, half of the data means useless. That means if I lost one ESXi, I lost the entire data store. So that's why they say minimal 3. Okay, minimal 3. The question is why 3? If you know what is RAID 5, this is the same idea. So RAID 5 is say if I have a data 1 0 1 0 1 0. What's happening is I can put 1 here and 0 here. I can put a CRC check here. After that, I can put 1 here, 0 here, and CRC check. And after that, I can put 1 CRC 0. So in that case, if I lost one of this, I still have all the data available. Why? Because from 1 and from CRC, I can easily recover this 0. And from this 0, oh, sorry, I lost this one. And from this 1, from this CRC, I can easily recover this 0. And from this 1 and this 0, I know I have everything. I don't have my CRC here. So that's why minimal 3 means I allow one host lost the function without destroy my data. Okay, so that's why minimal is 3. And if you go to the company and you're dealing with the sell guy may say, okay, please, no, the sell guy may say, use VMware technology, but at least try my vSAN, because all the technology from my same company, you will have a identical interface for manage the VM and the storage. It's good, but sometimes I don't like that way because what's happening here? First thing inside this 3 box, I mix CPU, RAM, and storage. This makes your life more complicated because if something really getting wrong and you log in, you may start thinking, is my CPU have an issue? RAM has an issue? The storage has an issue? ESXi getting wrong IP? And you start say, that's a huge box with all the technology built in, where I should start troubleshooting. So that's why I say, if you take your storage out, if I lost this one, there's no panic. I can say, if I lost it, I go my warehouse, get another PC and connect it or replace it. It will come back in a few more minutes or a half hour, right? Because if I have storage issue, I'm going to this dedicated storage system start troubleshooting, because I know this is a storage issue. I'm only focusing on the storage, not networking, not CPU, not ESXi. So that's why if you company have some extra budget, get yourself a dedicated storage box. So in that case, in the future, you will find you have less trouble to do the troubleshooting here. Okay, so like I said, if you're running out of the budget, vSAN may be the best option for you.
Oh, sorry, I
Yeah,
have a
go ahead.
question. I want to know that this way of storing the data into this platform, into virtual SANs, that validation, that CRC, is the VMware jobs to do, or
This is VMware ESXi job. That
uh,
means you also gave some CPU load to this CRC.
and that data is for only one VM that will distribute it through these storage, or just this is the the first SSD hard is storing the data for VMware 1, and the second one is storing the for VMware 2, and the third one is just for the validation. Is
No,
it the way, or the data will be
uh,
distributed?
no, this is when we talk about storage, you need to jump out of this VM circle. Uh, Storage is dedicated topic. It's not about VM storage. It's about regular storage. iSCSI is not dedicated for VM. It's also for physical server, Windows server, everything. So why I'm saying that is, if you get a chance to see the storage system, right? They have a old hard drive, old hard drive, old hard drive, and on top you may have VM here. Uh, I think you're thinking, oh, normally people think, maybe this VM installed to this hard drive. This VM installed to this hard drive. The truth is not like this way. You need to think about different layers. This is physical layer. So if I'm here, I see physical layer just let's say 1 terabyte hard drive. Right? They are in the enclosure inside the server rack. And on top, the first thing on top, you have a operating system, OS, Linux based. So this operating system will grouping this to maybe few big group, two group, let's say. That's 100 terabyte. I may group first 80 terabyte for production, 20 terabyte for testing. After that, I will present this to ESXi. And the ESXi will build a virtual machine here. So this time the virtual machine will say this virtual machine is used production, or maybe this VM is used testing. Okay. So for the ESXi guy, we see VM belong to this long or virtual storage device. So from the OS layer, like this guy is taking care between this mapping from this virtual LAN to the physical hard drive. Okay, so they have different layers. So bottom layer is just hard drive. You group 100 hard drive or 50 hard drive become one virtual hard drive inside the storage system. And you will present this virtual hard drive, one virtual hard drive to ESXi. ESXi will use that one virtual hard drive to do the job. And you may say, if I just have 180 terabyte, is that some chance this one will get broken? This one get broken means some of the hard drive will get broken here. That's why they have a certain technology to make sure they allow you have certain number of hard drive get failure without losing any data. So we may go that later. So hopefully you understand this is different layer from different person perspective of view. Okay, so if you're a network storage guy, we are talking about a physical hard drive mapping to the virtual hard drive, 1 or 2. If you are a virtual guy, you just say, provide me 80 terabyte hard drive, one virtual one, I will put 100 VM inside. That's a virtual guy too.
I got it. So that OS can we refer it to that fiber channel or XTC, that OS that you mentioned
Yes,
here?
let's say if you have a EMC company, they have the EMC built-in OS means operating system, you have a GUI. You may say, okay, map 1, 2, 3, 4 hard drive to one LAN, like something controlled here. And you may asking, where is the iSCSI and the fiber channel?
Yes, exactly. I want to know in this diagram where is the iSCSI and the fiber channel.
Okay. Remove this guy a little bit. For the let's for example, we bought the EMC box. In the front, you have hard drive, hard drive, hard drive. It's a big box. On the back, normally you have two, we call the processor. They have CPU, RAM. They have A, B running. On the bottom, you have a power supply. So normally they have a empty slot. You can insert a card. So this card, what you insert depends on what protocol you run. You can insert the iSCSI port, iSCSI card to support iSCSI, or at the same time, you can insert FC card on the back to support FC. At the same time, this box can support iSCSI and FC at the same time. It depends on which protocol you want to run. You buy certain expansion card for your for that storage. Let's search it. If I say EMC iSCSI, EMC 5FC. Let's put the full name. Cards.
And so the iSCSI and fiber channel we can refer as data link layer for the they are just protocol for
No, from
transfer.
bottom to top, totally different. From physical layer to the top, they don't share the same interface. They don't share the same cable. They don't share the same switch. So that's why when you have fiber channel, you have dedicated cable, dedicated switch, dedicated storage device, and everything costs you a lot of money.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, and I will talk this back a little bit. Say why someone still wants to use FC here. They don't talk this. Let's have a talk. This become part of the history. Your question may say, if this FC costs us a lot of money, why people still want to use FC here? So if we go Google, fiber, channel, speed. I need to have looks like this one is good. This FCOE, sorry, this is FCOE. I'm not sure. Okay. So this is fiber channel speeds from 100. This is 1 gig. So normally this one is as same as your network interface. They have 1 gig, 2 gig, 4 gig, 8 gig. And I think 8 gig is normally people get it. After that, it's very rare to see someone use 16 gig somewhere. So everybody almost stop at 8 gig. So what's happening? When you have fiber channel, and if you compare a fiber channel with IPv4, you see IPv4 has lots of header, MAC layer, IP layer, all the header. And FC is so simple, not much header here. That means you have a lot of high efficiency data protocol. And at the same time, at the same year, if fiber channel has 1 gig interface, the IP side only have 10, 100. Okay, so when fiber channel go 2 gig and 4 gig, from IP layer, they roughly go 1 gig backbone. So when FC go 8 gig, IP is still struggling between 1 gig and 10 gig, and finally IP go 10 gig. So after that, you know the story. Because all the companies start use IP network, we start getting 40 gig, 100 gig, 200 gig. And fiber channel just stop at 8. They have the protocol 1632, blah, blah, but really nobody use it anymore. So if in certain year, if you compare, you will say, if I need a high performance or high performance computing, FC is my best choice because network is really slow. But after a certain year, you will see 8 gig compared with 40 gig. I'd better switch to IP network because they have much more bandwidth. Let's see. So that's why you see this one. The network speed start from 10 gig. Now you have 25, 50, 100, and there is a 40, 100, 200, 20, 20. We almost get 400 GB network, right? Per interface, 400 GB. And for fiber channel, 8. Okay, never get a chance to see this higher speed available. That's why for the old company, like if you go old, let's say HP, the big data center, they still have lots of FC devices. So like I said, if they are working, they will keep use it. They don't want to destroy it. But for the new build data center, like our department, we have 10 GB switch backbone. So iSCSI become our best option, right? Because it's cheaper. I don't have a dedicated network and don't need to have a dedicated power for this, and less management for me because I don't need to manage both network. Okay, so if you go deep about FC, you will see they have a dedicated switch, dedicated protocol, dedicated routing protocol for this fiber channel. Okay. So later you see another protocol, say FCOE here. Sorry. FCOE is FC device not go through FC network, they go through IP network and send to ESXi or whatever destination. So this we call FCOE because some company want to reuse their storage, but they don't want to have or they don't want to manage any FC network. So what they can do, they can put FC protocol on top of network and use this high bandwidth IP network to do the job. Okay, so this is a background about FC and the iSCSI. Like I said, if you go old company, you may still see FC networks running. If you go see brand new company or your company asks you build a new data center, smaller size, you say we are going to use iSCSI. Okay. About virtual volume, VMDK, SANAS, not much here. Let's go storage device name conventional. Okay, convention. So this is about iSCSI. So when you talk about iSCSI, we will have a look here. Storage device are identified in several ways. Running time name, user convention, which we called NMHBA card. HBA card means hub bus adapter, HBA. NCTL, this name is not present through the reboot. Okay, target, identify iSCSI target address and port. Okay, so this is like a IP protocol. You have a source, you should have a destination, you have a destination port number. Long is, you can imagine long is one hard drive. You have second long, you have second hard drive. So just say one long will be one hard drive, virtual hard drive. So they have a unique identifier designed to individual collection of the hard drive disk logical. Okay, so let's go and have a look here. So this is after we map some iSCSI hard drive to ESXi. This is ESXi. And we have storage somewhere, and you map this to your ESXi, and you get this list. So what this list say, running time, like they said, this is a VM HBA and some, this is a kind of the interface name. this target is actually say, where is my storage? So target is always start with IQN. That's when you see IQN dot, you say this is iSCSI. Okay, if you see IQN dot something, you say this is iSCSI storage. And normally start with year and month. Year month means this manufacturer start the business, let's say EMC. If they start the business at 2008 August, and you will see year storage will start with IQN dot 2008 August. After that, you can have some kind of the name here. So the most important is this IP address. This IP is point to one of the IP which provide the service, right? It's 10.10. Also the port number by default, iSCSI use 3260. Okay. So from this part of the image, from this part, not this part, target, you may see everything is same, identical. So if it is identical means all this point to this big system. Okay, big system. So how to identify which hard drive I'm going to use or which virtual hard drive I'm going to use? This is your long ID. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means if someone configure this storage device, the first thing this guy will have a big virtual pool, and this guy will chop some hard drive, let's say 5 terabyte long 1, 10 terabyte long 2, 1 terabyte long 3. Okay, this guy will start chopping it and will present this to the ESXi. So ESXi will see, okay, I have first long here, second long here, and third long here. Okay, you may say 5T production, 10T lab, something like that. Okay, so when you do a storage, when you do storage, they have some consideration here. Long size, this is easy to understand. How big? 5 terabyte is enough for your lab, or you need to have 10 terabyte for your lab, right? That's the size. So IO bandwidth means how big is the bandwidth for the communication between VM and your storage. You say 1 gig, 10 gig, or 20 gig, or 40 gig, share or dedicate. Next one is IO required per second that alone is capable of. This we call IOPS. Okay, IOPS. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Next one is that's cache parameter. You have some cache there. Zoning and masking. Zoning and masking is same idea as your IPv4 network. You know, you have an IP address 192.168.1.1 or .0. If I don't tell you the mask, well, I put one here. If I don't tell you what is the mask, what does that mean? This is IP. But when I put the mask 255, 255, 255, 0. So what the information now you get? It's not IP. Now you know this is a range from 1 to 254, right? Same as here. The mask is doing this way. Let's say you have different hosts and you have different storage. Let's say you want A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. You want A to see 1 and 2. You want B only see 1, and you want C only see 3. You are not only give the one-to-one point, you also put a mask on top. So when you have a mask, it's become a range. For example, if you have a mask, that means A can see 1, 2 maybe, and not 3 because 3 will be outside of this range. So that's why I have zoning and the mask. See, you can control which ESXi host can connect to which storage. identical long parameter to each ESX host, active, active, active backup array. Let's see if they have active, active array here. Yeah, they have it. So I'm going to talk in the next part on FS storage. Okay. So part two is iSCSI storage. Now let's have a break. It's 2:36. Okay, and let's come back on the two. Let's see, add 4. What's the time now? So it's 4:50. 30 minutes break and come back at 2:50. Okay. Okay, it's 2:49. Mm, any question before I start discuss the topic? Okay, looks like. Okay, so this is till 4 o'clock. We have 1 hour, 10 minutes, and I try my best to cover as much as we can. So this topic is about iSCSI storage. Okay, let me go here. Someone, if you pay a little bit attention to here, is say when you say fiber channel, copper fiber, you will find the spelling is a little bit different. So sometimes you spell as FIBRE, and sometimes you spell as FIBER. Okay, so when you spell this, make sure when we talk about the fiber channel, this spelling is FIBRE. Okay. When we talk about the fiber optical network or fiber optical cable, that one is FIBER. Okay. So this fiber is kind of not that fiber. It's a different spelling. Okay. So something here. Okay. iSCSI. Okay. So this one is talking about the entire storage system. We can treat this as let's say this is certain brand, can be EMC. So if this is my storage, from the between storage and my ESXi host. So between I can just need I just need the IP network, which is TCP IP network will be okay. And you may have a just give me a second. So you may need some that's okay, just give me a second. Let me see. Oh, okay, not fast. This can be a IP network, IPv4, IPv6, and you just have a huge bandwidth. 1 gig, you can say yes, it's okay if you don't need if you don't run the huge company. 1 gig is more than enough. 10 gig will be better. From the cost perspective, 10 gig will be the sweet point because now 10 gig is cheaper than before. When you go upgrade, you go 25 gig, 100 gig, 200 gig, whatever. Okay, so minimum 1 gig, 10 gig will be the best for the network. Okay, so next one is what is inside this system or what is inside the box or fuel box. The first thing you will see we call SP here, and this guy has two SP. So SP's full name is storage processor. What is inside your SP is a computer. You have CPU, you have RAM, you have flash, and they install their special operating system inside, right? To help you manage the hard drive. You may say why they have two? Because for high availability, one, if you only get one, means if you need to, let's say basically, if you don't have any disaster, but if you need to upgrade the firmware or you need to patch the OS, when you update your Windows 10, so what's happening after updating, they say you need to reboot your Windows 10. Same here, after upgrading or patching the OS, normally you need to reboot this SP. But when you reboot the SP, you lost the connection between here and all the 1000 VM. Even a second you lost the internet, you lost the connection, you will all the VM may crash here because they say, oh, my hardware gone, I cannot keep running. So that's why the storage system will say one ISP is not good idea for this data center. That's why they add a second ISP, identical ISP here. So normally in the normal day, if one ISP has some issue, this guy will shut down and shift the load to second ISP. If everything okay, they have 50% load here, 50% load here, like 50% load balancing. So if something wrong here, they will shifting the load to the one ISP. So in that case, you may go the server room, and this is all hot plug. So you do need to physically shut down the power. So you will keep everything running, and you follow the manual. You will pull the lever and took this SP out. And you may have a spare one SP, and you get a spare one from your warehouse and plug in. So if you don't have the spare one, normally happening is you get this SP out and you call the company will send you a new SP, maybe next day or less than 24 hours or next 2 business day, depending on what service you pay to them. Okay. But in that case, not worry because you still have a good ISP running. So your business still keep running. Another good thing is you have two ISPs. When you do software upgrading, you upgrade this one. When you start upgrading, they will shift the load to second ISP. So they will have 0% load. After that, you will start try to upgrade it. If they didn't successfully upgrade it, something wrong, crash, that's okay. Took the SP out, fix it, or get a new device to replace it. If everything okay, you upgrade this ISP, and you power it up, and now you tell second ISP say shift all the load to me. I have the new version, and after shifting all the load, this guy has 0%, and now it's time to upgrade your firmware or software. Okay, so during the updating, the network running without interrupt. So your VM is running without notice your service, the SP is down. So that's what I'm saying is if you buy storage for your company, if they have a high availability requirement, you buy active SP or storage processor. Our department has a mixed storage. We have a dedicated EMC like this configuration, but for student storage, like you have a student share folder, which you have some VM, blah, blah. You don't have a high availability. If this guy down for 5 minutes, that's fine, right? Especially if not in the work in the lab hour. So that case, I have another box, but I have single SP because I don't need to spend a lot of money to buy this huge box, right? I can buy some cheaper version with single SP if I upgrade it. All the share folder will lost connection for 5-10 minutes. That's fine. Okay, so this is cheaper. This is cost you more. Next one, when we go top, this is about storage system. So this big circle as iSCSI storage system means that big physical box comes with power supply, power, cooling, CPU, everything. This big box. Physical hard drive disk is this part. Normally this one in the front of your server. Let me find the EMC. Let's see. Okay, the storage server look sometimes like this. Get a picture. Okay, this is all the hard drive. And on the bottom, you may have your cooling fan here. So this is a EMC storage. And if you get a chance to visit the data center, you may not see something like this because this looks like ugly, right? So that's why sometimes you see the data center like this, like this. So what's happening? They have the enclosure or cover in front of this server. So they cover all the hard drive and they put some fancy light, LED light and some logo here. So next time you go see some storage system, you may not see the hard drive. Just remember the hard drive is behind this cover. So for the maintenance, you can go easily took the cover out and this is without this cover. So all hard drive is here. Okay. So this is a hard drive, which is you physically buy and install to your chassis or the box. And because we run operating system, we will virtualize them, become these longs, which we call logical unit numbers, right? Like I said, it's a virtual hard drive. So you may present this virtual hard drive to different ESXi hosts. You may say production, lab, or something else. And how to provide the service? You provide service from this SP. And like some student ask, can I run different protocol? Yes, you buy different plugin hardware. You can run FC or you can run iSCSI. So here we run iSCSI and we provide the service to the outside. So as a service provider or as a server, I don't say who is my client. At this stage, I don't say who is my client because I don't know. It's like if this is a web server, I'm standing by. If someone want to have a browser access, that's fine. Same here. When you configure, you don't say who is my client. You just say, I have 2 IP. If someone wants to join, please talk to me through this IP. So the host, you actually point the host. You say, okay, I know where's the storage. You may say, please go talk to this guy or talk to this guy. For high availability not happening on the storage side, it's also about your host side. You can have 2 HBA card, which is we say server with iSCSI indicator. HBA card is kind of the network card, but they provide you it's not IP, right? It's a storage protocol. So some of them have 1, but this guy has 2. That means you can do 1 of this, 1 of this. That means if one SP shut down by upgrading, host will get access to a second one. Okay, so this is basic design. But when we talk about high detailed design, like if this is my storage, I have A, I have B. So for high availability means A or B, one of these may get failure sometime. And if I have a host, I have HBA, A and B, one of these card may get failure. So how to design this network, right? The first thing you see, if I have 2 layers of the switch, how are I going to design the high availability here? The best way or best practice way is run this way. 1, 2. From each SP, you run 2 cable to different switch. 3, 4. Okay, between switch, you run kind of full mesh. Okay, from each of the switch, you do the same. You run 2 cable to each of HBA. So in that case, you have full mesh or very high level secure network. So in that case, if I lost A, if I lost any of this, if I lost this guy, and if I lost this guy, if I lost this guy, the network will be still okay because the traffic will go from change the color. Oh no, not this one, sorry. Change the color here. Right, the traffic will go from B, send to this switch, and because this switch available, send to here, and because my A is available, I'm going to send here. Okay, in this kind of the design, you allow multiple devices get failure at the same time, and you still have a point end-to-end connection. Okay. Here you may say, what's the difference between HBA card and software iSCSI card? They have a discussed here. Okay. The next one is iSCSI addressing. For both sides, you have your own address, like IPv4, right? Your server has IP address, your client has IP address. For iSCSI, it's the same rule. For your ISP, you have IQN, start with the manufacturer's starting year, and or you have a short name or alliance. So this is iSCSI alliance. You can put very tiny short name, and plus this IP address. So this IP address will be on this interface. Okay. Initiator means your client. Client is looking for the target. Initiator has some unique name. For here, it is a VMware, and have a short name. I also have the IP address here. So this IP address will be here. So after you configure both side IP, and here you may say, please add or please scan. Normally we say scan. 192.168.36.10.11. That means I will go scan the entire storage system. And because the mask there, you may not find some of this long. They don't allow you to see it, but they will present what you can use inside this scan results. Okay. So this is how you do the addressing here. Next one. Next one is about different type of iSCSI initiator, means kind of the software hardware card. Basic one is software iSCSI, because inside this big physical box, if you don't want to spend more money for dedicated hardware, you can use this free, which we call software iSCSI. What's happening? Everybody has a VM network card, but how to handle SCSI traffic on a regular network card is VM kernel. You use CPU resources to do initiator, TCP/IP layer, and NIC driver layer. Okay, all this job will be on the CPU side. If you have a small company, that's fine. So if your company start growing, you will say, I don't want to put a lot of CPU load on for this SCSI traffic. So you can say, I put another hardware. It's same as a network card, but different level of the network card. So this one called the dependent hardware iSCSI. So what's happening is your CPU load will be reduced because you only have a network configuration and the NIC driver, and your iSCSI initiator will be handled by your physical NIC card. Okay, so if you want to go further, you can have this independent hardware iSCSI card. Means this iSCSI card will taking care most of the job, traffic job, and for your CPU, there's not much for your CPU. So your CPU will be free for other VM job. Okay, so this is 3 different levels. First one is any NIC card, even your laptop, even your computer, PC NIC, you can enjoy iSCSI technology by using software iSCSI, because most of this job will be taken care by your CPU. When your company grow, the final goal is you will have an independent hardware iSCSI card. Okay, let me see if we can find some picture here. Oh, see, this one is 1 gig Dell refurbished one, second hand. You know, technology is growing so fast. For two 1 gig port iSCSI dedicated card, 69 Canadian dollar. Few 10 years ago, this one cost you $2,000, $3,000. Okay, so that's some professional card you can find. Okay. So this one is setting up iSCSI adapter. You set up a software or hardware. Or hardware. Well, software means this one, software iSCSI. Hardware means it's dependent or independent hardware iSCSI card. Okay, like here said, you can have a software adapter, means you put all CPU, you put all the job to CPU, and you keep your built-in network card for this task. Or you spend more money to buy the hardware adapter, so they have independent and dependent hardware adapter. Sometimes you say, what is HBA? Because you see VM HBA again. So what is HBA? Okay, HBA full name is called host bus adapter. Let me go here. Okay. So this is one of the example HBA. So host adapter is used to connect the block level storage such as fiber channel, SATA, SCSI. So this is like a block level, which is very, very low level. So when you have very low level means, how can I say that? The low level means if you build a PC or build a server and you have a hard drive, extra hard drive, you want to connect this hard drive to this PC, you need to have an adapter. This adapter is HBA, host bus adapter. Okay, so this one will connect to your hard drive, and this let me run protocol, SCSI protocol, or SATA protocol. Okay. Oh yeah, because we're talking about SATA and SCSI, give you some extra information here. How many of you guys know this interface, SATA interface, which if you have not recent laptop, a little bit old laptop, you have 2.5-inch SATA hard drive built in, maybe SSD. Yes, someone know it, right? This is your SATA interface. And let's open this one. Remember, this is on the top, this is 2.5-inch hard drive. On the bottom is 3.5-inch hard drive. SATA interface is this smaller one. What is the big one? This big one is power. Yeah, this guy remember IDE. Okay, yeah, let's go. Maybe we go back to IDE sometime. Okay, first thing let's hear. Left-hand side, smaller pin is SATA. Bigger pin is for power. This part is power. This part is data. Okay, so next one. Okay, before I talk about SAS, yes, that's right. We go to. Okay, let's do this. SAS. Now the question become. Sometimes you see people talking about SAS drive in a data center. You know, for consumer, we use SATA all everywhere, like laptop, desktop, old, not old, even a little bit old one. And when you go data center, if you buy storage, people will say, what kind of SAS hard drive you are looking for? You may say, what is SAS? Okay, SAS is also an interface here. So what's the difference between SAS and data? is SATA is from this side. Now you're looking at this picture. Left-hand side is your data pin. Always say it's kind of the same as your SATA pin. Right-hand side is your power pin. So what's the difference between SATA and SAS is in the SATA, there's empty. They have the gap between SATA, between data and the power. For SAS, there's no gap. Okay, there's a plastic cover this area. And you may wondering, said, what's this? Why they have this block here? So what's that block for? Let me find another picture. Yeah, this one. So from one side, which we already see, this SATA SAS interface is data, block, no gap, and power. So what is under this block? If you go this upside down, you will see another small pins under this block, which SATA don't have it because SATA is empty gap between these two. So SAS has some extra cable or port. So you may say, why we need some extra cable here? So why we need some extra cable in the SAS? The answer is not that hard to understand. Okay, let's back to my iSCSI PowerPoint here. Now here. Where is that? Sorry about this. I need to find this basic. No. Where we talk about SPAB. Yeah, here. Okay. So this is inside this iSCSI. So if we have a SATA cable, a SATA hard drive, you know what's happening. This is the power. This is the data go to your motherboard, and everything's okay. Now the SATA will have another dedicated cable, but you say, why I have another dedicated cable for? So the story is easy to understand. Let's make this storage system simple here. Let's say in this storage, I have two SP, SPA, SPB. And let's say I only have one hard drive here. If I have SATA, I'm facing an issue because SATA only has one cable, can only talk to one controller, or only cannot connect to one PC because SP is a PC. If I connect to A, I cannot connect to B. So that's why for the enterprise, they said I use SAS. So at the same time, I'm talking to A and also talking to B. So in that case, if A gets some issue updating, the B will take care of the job and send data through this channel. If B gets something wrong, I can still use my A to send the traffic to the SAS drive. Okay, so this is the difference between SAS and SATA. Okay, for SATA, you connect to one device. For SAS, at the same time, you can have two controllers. This one only get one controller. So this is the difference between SATA and SAS. Okay, someone said IDE. I see. You know, sometimes better don't say you remember IDE because people say you talk something is also people will recognize you are your age, right? If you're talking about your ID, you are no more young there. Same as a movie. When you talk about a certain movie, actually you tell some guy how old are you, right? Okay, that's the idea. So this is the old interface, old hard drive interface. Before SATA, all the computer use IDE cable like this one. This is parallel cable. You will see 40 pins because to increase the bandwidth, they need to have a lot of channels. So they parallel all the channel together. That's why they have this 40 pin cable for SATA. So this is a SATA hard drive. Okay, that's a big data pin and it's a power. So at the same time, for the IDE for consumer, SCSI is for server. Okay, see that's a SCSI interface. And let's see, find SCSI cable. So this is a SCSI cable. Has a more 68 pins inside parallel, and in one cable you can put 8 devices in one cable. For IDE you can put 2 devices because it's a parallel. Okay. So this is a part of the technology. After that, IDE become your SATA. SCSI become SAS. Okay. And now if you buy laptop, you see, or buy the high-end gaming desktop, you see NVMe, right? This is the latest technology for storage. And can be inside your laptop. And you know this kind of tiny storage you can upgrade to your laptop. Or if you get a chance to open your laptop, you see some of your new laptop building with this kind of flash or SSD. Okay. Something I want to mention here is when you try to upgrade your laptop or desktop, be careful about this one. Okay, maybe your if you open your laptop, maybe your laptop do not support this full size. Normally the regular size is 2 to 80, 20 to 80. You may find your laptop may only support 20 to 42. Okay, because for our lab room PC, if you open the chassis, they don't have enough space for this 20 to 80. So we have 20 to 42 inside. And for the server, if you get a chance to see the server sometimes use this 2 to 110. It's much bigger than our 20 to 80. Okay, so most case 20 to 80 is the most popular one. But for the server, this is the most popular one. And for certain case, you may find this smaller size. Okay. This is about the size of this and NVMe vs ATA. Another thing is when you upgrade it, it's not like your SATA, you know, the SATA has a dedicated port. You buy the bigger one, you buy the SSD, you'll be okay. For that some size NVMe drive, okay, look at these two, same company, Samsung. And what's the difference between these two? Is the gap. Okay, for this one, you have one cut. For this one, you have two cut. You say, doesn't matter, right? I can put this one cut or this two cut to this guy's interface, right? Because I have extra space, which I don't care. No, the answer is this one running dedicated protocol, which is NVMe. And this guy running dedicated protocol, which is SATA protocol. You see, this is SATA, this is NVMe. So that's why I said when you upgrade your own laptop, make sure you buy the right size, plus you buy the right protocol for this kind of SSD. Okay, so they have different size, different meaning. When you have different card, that means a different protocol running inside. So like this guy, right? So when you have different carding, means you have different protocol running inside. Okay, so this is why we have SATA SAS hard drive. Oh, latest NVMe technology, right? Okay, ESXi network config for IP storage. This is kind of part of the lab. You can name say this is a VM kernel just for storage. You say IP storage. You put dedicated IP address just for storage. So you don't mix this IP address with your management. Okay, so you have different IP here. So this is how you do discovery after you config all the IP, everything. You can send target request, which means I want to scan or I want to scan what you have. And they will send you a reply said, this is what I have for you. Okay. CHOP is some security feature you can add on. They have one-way CHOP and they have indirect and bidirect. So basic one is there's no password, no username. Means if I'm here, I have a laptop. If I get a chance to connect to your IP network, I may send iSCSI scan. So if I scan, I can get the result. I can even map this to my laptop, and I can get access to the entire hard drive. So that's why they said, can we add some security feature? That's why we have CHAP here. CHAP. So most case we put CHAP on the storage side. Okay, we put username and password. So if I'm here, I try to get access, I need to know what is your username and password. Without that, I cannot get access to the storage. Another one is now my storage has a security one. Can I put some security way on my ESXi? The answer is yes. You can also put CHAP here. So when storage want to talk to your ESXi, iSCSI should know what is your username and password. Okay, so this just add this add a little bit security on your network. So don't rely on this. It's not secure. The most secure way is you secure your IP network. Means shut down unused port to the building or to the office. Make sure you isolate the traffic between storage and the management and the user data. Okay, so don't rely on the so this is multi-passing. Multi-passing is what I like said is to access this same storage, I can go through here. I can go through here. So sometimes you see active. So you can have two active way to go through network and have to the same destination. NFS data, not much we can say. Simple, you just build NFS data store and try to use it. Not much fancy stuff here. They compare with version 3 and version 4.1. Okay. But if you can avoid it, just avoid it. It's really nothing. You just map it and use it. And the finger cross, everything will be okay. Okay, this is you can view, you can go related objects and go data store, and you can have view of different data store, NFS, iSCSI, or any data store. After that, this is unmount. Same as your how to delete your VM. You can remove from inventory or you can delete from the hard drive. For this virtual hard drive, you also can do certain things. You can unmount data store. Unmount means you remove it from your inventory list, but you are not destroyed your data. All the VM will be saved inside. So from here, they said unmount NFS data store means it's inaccessible to the ESXi host. Okay, after you say if you have unmount, you definitely have the mount. You can mount it back. And they also have another option, say delete. You can format the hard drive. Multipassing is same from source to destination. You can go through different switching way and reach to the same destination. Enable session trunking and multipassing. Yes, it's how to enable it. Okay, VMF data store. So when you have the data store, you have the data store name plus you have the format type, VMFS or NFS. And one lab is you can actually go inside this virtual LAN to see what is a folder inside. It's just a hard drive. You can see what is a folder. Maybe this is your VM folder and some other folder there. Increase the size of VMDF. So one day you will finish all this entire data store. So you can add another LAN and combine them together to increase the size of your storage. Before increase, you will check something and make sure you do it during the evening time because you want the lower IO, not the high IO. So delete or unmount VMF store. You can do, like I said, unmount, mount, or you can go delete. Same as your VM. If you delete, you destroy all the data. You free the space. Unmount means just invisible from host. Yeah, this is a multi-passing like what I already told you. Between switch and ESXi host, you run multiple cable to multiple switch and do the full mesh and have availability here. And you can also have a load balancing if you want. Visa. Okay. Anyway, because they mentioned here IO, so maybe talk a little bit IO here. When you talk to the manufacturer like EMC, normally you say, you do your calculation, say I have 100 VM. Each VM use 1 GB. No, 10 GB space. So you tell when you buy this storage, you say after the calculation, this is 1 terabyte hard drive box. Okay, so EMC says, sure, no problem. I'm going to configure this for you. Second question is, what is the IOPS you want? You say, what's that? Right, I have 100 VM and each one has 110 gig. That's the size I need. So what is IOPS? Why I care IOPS here? So IOPS is important for your storage system. So let's make a simple example before we go that deep. For the old guy like me, like some of you, you know, we use a mechanical hard drive before SSD. This is a disk spinning, and you have an arm, and the arm will write the data and read the data. So normally when you buy this kind of hard drive, what you have two parameters. One is what's the size? You say 1 terabyte. For consumer, that's all. And some smarter consumer or some guy may say, oh, I want 7.2K RPM. Or someone say I have 5K RPM. So you say, what's that? RPM is a round per minute, means this disk will go 7,200 round per minute, right? 5 means 5,000, means slower speed. You say, why I care this speed? Because when you're reading the data 1010 from this disk, this speed, the spinning speed is actually your reading speed. The disk spinning faster, your reading get faster. That's why for consumer, 7.2K is the top for your laptop or desktop before SSD. For the SCSI, the most time you see 10K, 15K. 15K means 10,500, 15,000 RPM. That means it's spinning really, really fast. Okay, so let's have a look. That's why for consumer, normally we don't say IOPS, but for SCSI, we say IOPS. 15K SAS. Let's put SAS here. And you will find all these 10K, 15K drive are 2.5 inch because they cannot make 3.5 inch because this is so big. When you're spending that fast, it's not reliable. So all this smaller case, 2.5 inch. Now let's see what is IOPS. IOPS. Okay, they have a number here. Basic one for SAS 15K, your IOPS is 188 to 200. If you have lower speed, your IOPS is lower. What is IOPS? It's IO per second. IO per second. That means you have 200 ops. That means my this header can jump to 200 place in 1 second and read the data from different place. 200 location in 1 second. So that's why this guy will be quickly jumping between different locations and start reading it. Because the spinning speed is getting lower, so you can lower your arm, which your IO is going lower. So we see here, 15K top hard drive for storage. You have IOPS 200. And you may say, okay, if I combine 10 of them, what's my IOPS? If you run read whatever, let's roughly say you multiply 10. 2K. By use 10 mechanical hard drive, you can reach to 10K, 2K IOPS. So how about our SSD? So why people like SSD? People say, oh, because it's fast. What's mean fast, right? Yeah, you say, oh, my Windows boot up very quick. If as a professional, we say, what causes fast, right? You say, let's say pick up a Samsung one. Samsung. Samsung. Right, you can get this, 1 terabyte around 200 US dollar, right? But the thing here, let me see if we can get. Oh, I don't want this thing. Come on, close this guy. I want to have the data. See, normally they say this is fast, 2 times fast, 5 times fast. But what's mean fast here? Reading speed, writing speed is one thing, but the IOPS is the most number we are looking for here, right? So for this consumer hard drive, everybody can buy it. What is the IOPS? For this single drive, you get what? 1000K. Okay, we get 1000K IOPS here. Read and write 1000K. And remember here, we have 10 of this commercial hard drive, and our goal is only getting 2K. But for SSD, what we see, 1000K, 500 times faster than the entire system. Okay, so that's why I said now the technology inside your laptop may be even faster than the old data center storage system because this technology, SSD or flash. Okay, so IOPS is also an important parameter here because if you have a very low IOPS, even you have enough space, you have, let's say, 2K IOPS, but you have a 100 VM on top. If everybody start reading and writing, so every VM only get 20 IOPS, which is terrible. When you have lower IOPS, your system getting slow, getting frozen. So that's why I said IOPS is also an important parameter when you buy your storage system. This part is vSAN. It's the same idea we already talked about. So they say the minimal network, it will be 1 gig, or better to have 10 gig between all the ESXi. So you need to have a SAS. You remember SAS means 2 data cable or 2 data channel. SATA means 1 data channel. And you have a read controller, must working in pass-through or HBA mode. Okay, let's talk about here. RAID. I'm not sure how many of you guys know RAID. We have RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 5, RAID 6. That's most popular RAID we have. For traditional network, traditional computer, if I have a gaming computer 5 years ago, I want to have a high performance, I can buy best CPU, best RAM. But for the hard drive, the hard drive is like this. Traditional mechanical hard drive, I cannot do anything on top. So how to increase the performance? I can buy 2 hard drive, and I can split the data, right, to 2 hard drive. Like I said, if my data is 101010, I can put 101010 here. So my reading, writing speed are double, my IOPS are double. So the issue is, if I lost one, I lost everything. And even crazy people said, I don't care. It's just for gaming. I can add more hard drive, 4 hard drive. So if I split this data, I've split like 101010. No, not next one. Let's put this one. 1101011101. How you split this data? You do 1101011101. Okay, you say, wow, super fast. 4 times. What's the issue? You get four times higher risk. You say, if I lost any of this hard drive, I lost the entire data. Right? So this is, you lower your system reliability, but you increase the performance. For gaming, that's fine. For server, no, this is definitely not a good idea.
But also the retrieving speed would be slow because like there are multiple hard drives, right? So the retrieving speed of the hard drives would be low. CPU
Not that low. Yes, CPU is another issue, which is I can talk a little bit here. Normally the rate is, if I have 3 hard drive, the performance may be multiplied by 2.7 if I run RAID 0. Okay, it's not really to three times, but close to 3 times. But RAID 0 means not good for server. Okay, now this is RAID 1. People say, okay, I want my data safe. Oh, even now you buy some home NAS, the home NAS, they have a 1 bay or 2 bay device. If you buy 2 bay device. So what is RAID 1? RAID 1 is same. You have
Mirroring.
Mirroring. You have a 2 hard drive, 1, 2. If my data is 110101, what I'm going to write 110101, 110101. If I lost 1 hard drive, no problem. My second hard drive will take care of the job. So what's the issue here? You spend 2 times of your money. What you get? You get 1 time of the performance. Because it's like a 1 hard drive. So you pay extra money for what? For the security. 2 hard drive is okay. How about 4 hard drive? Right? If you're mirroring 4 hard drive, you pay 4 times of the money, you get 1 time of the performance, and plus you get, if this is 1 terabyte, you only get 1 terabyte of the storage.
That is generally the place where we start pairing these rates, right? So that we can get more benefits and more performance.
Yeah, that's why sometimes you want to get a balance, a point between performance and security, right? Because this time you spend 4 times of the money, you get 1 hard drive performance and get 1 hard drive storage. Not bad, not good. That's why this have 5 and 6. What's the 5 here? 5 require you have minimal 3 of the hard drive. So this
five,
is
five is striping with parity, right?
Yeah, 5 over 6. First thing, let's start with 5. 5 is minimal 3 and can be bigger. So what they do, same story. You put this is a 10110. You put a 1 0 CRC. After that, you put sorry, one CRC one, and maybe 0 CRC, whatever. So in that case, if I lost one hard drive, another two hard drive will combine together. I still can recover my data. But the issue is if I lost this one, if I want to recover the first data, I have only one parameter and I have my CRC check. So I will combine this in a formula and use some of my CPU to do the calculation and recover the data. And same when we write the data to this hard drive, you need to use your CPU to calculate this CRC value and put in randomly put in the hard drive. So this is read 5. You allowed to lose one. If you lost second one, game over, right? You cannot recover any data.
Also, the data is written from left to right.
No, it's they have their own algorithm to do that. I just gave you a simple example.
Oh,
It
okay.
depends on the RAID controller.
Depends on read controller. Yeah, for read controller, you have soft read and you have hard read. Soft read means CPU will do the calculation, for CRC. Hardware read means something like this card. All the CRC check happening on this chip, not on CPU. Okay, so back here, read 5. That means if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hard drive, if I run read 5, I still allow only one hard drive get failure. If I have second one, game over. Entire hard drive data will be gone. So this is read 5. Doesn't matter how many hard drive you put in read 5, only allow one hard drive get failure at the same time. And people will say, if I have 20 hard drive, lost one hard drive may be okay, but you have high chance to lost second hard drive. So people say, do you have better option for that? Okay. 6. What's the 6? 6 ask at least 4 hard drive. 4 hard drive means I can put data, CRC1, CRC2, and data CRC1, data CRC2, CRC1, data CRC2, whatever. So if I lost one from 2 data CRC, I can recover that. I don't need to recover both data here. If I lost another hard drive from 1 data, 1 CRC, I can recover another data, same as here. Data, CRC, sometimes, split, not this case. Yes, based on both CRC, you may recover some data. So in that case, RAID 6 allow you to have 2 hard drive have a failure at the same time. Okay. So people say, oh, looks like better if I run RAID 6, I allow me to have 2 hard drive at failure at the same time. How about 100 hard drive, 200 hard drive, 1000 hard drive, 2000 hard drive? Can you use RAID 5 or RAID 6? The answer becomes, said, yes, we can use it, but in 100 hard drive, 1 hard drive get failure is normal, and second hard drive get failure also fine, but you cannot protect me, right? So what they can do here, you can chop it. Let's say I have 100 hard drive. What I can do, I can chop it. Every 10 hard drive as a group. And I can build a RAID 5.
Or even better, sir, we can go for something like a 7+3 erasure coding in sets of 10 drives. That way we can get better performance and more reliability.
Yes, you can have a different way. And this number, I just put an example. If you go EMC, they will do their own calculation and say, this is a number best for the best performance for RAID 5 or RAID 6. Just give you an example. In that case, you have multiple RAID 5, and I'm going to group them as RAID 0, whatever. If I lost 1 hard drive here, I lost 1 hard drive here, lost 1 hard drive here, that's fine. Okay, but I cannot lose 2 hard drive in the same block. And you may say, there's still a chance you lost 2 hard drive from the single block. Yes. So how to design that is, instead of you use entire 10 hard drive to do RAID 5, you put 1, 2, 3, 4. You put 8 hard drive as RAID 5. And you have 2 hard drive as here we called hot spare, or 1 as a hot spare, depends on how you're going to do that. Hot spare is system will do the health check almost every time. If they find something is not right for this hard drive, they will immediately take this hard drive offline, and they will immediately active this one, the hot spare one become active, means join to this group. Because this is empty hard drive, right? So when you join it, they need to have a one procedure called rebuild. Rebuild is to read entire hard drive from this existing hard drive and use your CPU to do the calculation and to recover the data from this broken hard drive. So rebuild normally taking a lot of CPU and IOs to rebuild. So that's why you can set up, have the low priority for rebuild means if it's daily job, your user won't find the hard drive getting slower. But in the nighttime, you may put this as a high priority, means use a maximum speed to rebuild this broken hard drive. Okay, so this is called a hot spare. So if you have a dedicated hot spare inside this group, this is called a dedicated hot spare. Sometimes we even have a global hot spare, means 1 or 2 hard drive will be available for any of these groups. If something wrong, I can immediately jump to that group and to do the recover. So this is some hot spare technology. Combined with different technology, you can have a very reliable storage system. Plus, if you have a 2 SP here, your SP, your storage will be very strong. Okay. Now let's talk about something which not talking in the book. The only thing is if you talk to someone who manages the system or who manages storage, they may give you some extra knowledge point. This one I won't write in the book. Just give you some idea here. Basic stuff. Let's say I build a basic storage. I bought 4 hard drive. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I bought 4 hard drive and build a tiny storage system, provide the service to the outside world. And for the safety reason, I run RAID 5. Okay. You know, RAID 5 data means you split CRC with all the entire hard drive. After this box running for a few years, one day you receive a warning said, health issue for hard drive number 1. Warning flashing, whatever, say you have a bad block. That means this hard drive should be retired. Normally you say, that's okay if you go follow all the manual, you know, the user manual or troubleshooting manual. They say, don't worry, this is RAID 5. If you take this hard drive out and you insert a new hard drive, maybe I put ASIS 5. And based on the data, 2, 3, 4 data, and CPU will do the calculation and fill or recover the data from hard drive 1 and put in the hard drive 5. All the lab manual will say that. All the production troubleshooting manual say that. If this one getting something wrong, take it out, put a new hard drive, same size or bigger size. The system will automatically rebuild your entire RAID 5. This is true, okay? This is true. But my question is, if this is really happening inside your company, this one is gone. Now they have this one called downgrade because there's no more protection between this. If you lost another one, game over. At this moment, if you are the system administrator, what you are going to do? Are you going to follow the line manual, took this guy out and put a new hard drive in? My suggestion is don't do that. You may say, why? Why? Oh, go ahead. Someone want to talk? No? Okay. So you say, if I don't do this, what should I do? I suggest use your laptop, connect to the storage system, backup. This backup not say backup the entire storage. You have definitely different storage, right? Production, testing, backup the most important data from this storage, maybe to the portable hard drive or whatever. Only backup the most important production data to the outside hard drive. And you may say, what's the point for that? The story is this. When you buy this full hard drive, what do you buy? You are not going to say, I buy one hard drive from Best Buy, I buy one hard drive from eBay, I buy one hard drive from Amazon, right? It's not like us. You order all these full hard drive from the same company, the same vendor, and then when you receive this full hard drive, the most case, this full hard drive manufactured at the same day. Okay, they are manufactured in the same day, and the serial number may close to each other. So why I'm saying that is because if one hard drive have some issue after 5 years, that means second hard drive may have the same issue in a short period. Maybe after another month, second hard drive may have some issue. And this one may have another issue, and this one may have another issue. So the most experienced said, if your first hard drive start have some issue, be prepared, because your second hard drive may have the same issue happening in next week or next month or even next hours, because they all manufacture in the same time. So if they, yeah. So when they stop running, they all close to each other, stop running at the same time. So if we follow the troubleshooting guide, say, move this hard drive. I bought brand new recent manufactured hard drive 5 here, and I'm going to rebuild. System will say I'm going to rebuild. What's mean rebuild? Let's say this is your one hard drive, hard drive, hard drive. This one already has data. This one has the data. This one has data. This one is empty. How to rebuild? Rebuild means CPU go read all this data. After 3, you rebuild 1. I read second part, you rebuild 0. That means rebuild will read the entire hard drive from 0 till the end. From 0 till the end. 0 till the end. What will cause this? Because one hard drive get failure, second hard drive may already have some bad blocks somewhere which cannot be read. So when the system going to do rebuild, they will go through entire hard drive until they find, oh, your second hard drive also has some issue. I need to bring this offline. And remember, at this time, we didn't finish rebuild this first hard drive. If we lost second hard drive, what you lost? You lost entire data store. Because the first hard drive didn't finish rebuild and you lost your second hard drive. In that case, everything be lost. That's why my recommendation is first thing, backup the important data, because when you do backup important data, you may go only read few lines from each of the hard drive. So even you have some bad blocks somewhere, you have less chance to hit that blocks. But if you go rebuild, you 100% will hit that block, bad blocks, because you read from 0 till the end. So that's why if you back up the most important data and you back it to the outside world, now you do rebuild. If something wrong, you say, that's okay. I have my production data already backed outside. I'm not going to do I'm not panic, right? I just need to order hard drive 6 to replace it. And now you don't need to rebuild because everything is gone. You need to just format entire hard drive and copy the most important data back to your storage system. Okay, so this is something maybe you'll not learn from your textbook. Okay. Because nobody want to say, my hard drive is not that reliable, right? Everybody say my hard drive is the top reliable device, but the truth is not. Another thing is during the last 10 years, I find 10 years ago, if I have a 2 terabyte hard drive, this 2 terabyte hard drive may working for 7 years. And recently, when we buy, like 5 years ago, when we buy 4 terabyte hard drive, and some of them only run 5 years. And recently we buy, so the worst case is 2 years ago, we bought 8 terabyte NAS hard drive, dedicated for NAS, for storage. 1 year. 1 year. 8, we bought 8 of them. 2 of them have the issue at the same time, just after 1 year. Okay, so now you say, now I say, don't trust any hard drive manufacturer. They can be broken in few months, not few years now. So, okay, so if you have a very important data, even for yourself, backup, okay? It's most important.
Yeah, but then you have a SLA, so
Have what?
SLA, service level agreement. So I guess that helps if you sign an SLA with a vendor or someone. So that might help.
No, yeah, they help. What they help, they say, give me your broken data hard drive. If you don't need to, the agreement said, okay, if you lost your hard drive, I can give you another one for free. That's definitely okay.
Yeah.
And if you say, oh, because I lost 2 hard drive, I lost my entire data, they may offer you, say, I can try to recover your data, maybe for free.
In general, no SLA penalizes the vendor for failure of hard drive, because that is often general thing.
Yeah.
Because these failures are supposed to happen at some point based on the endurance of the drive.
Yeah, I agree. So for that 2 hard drive, easily I can get replacement from manufacturer. Say, yes, I give you I give you 2 new one for free. If I lost 2 hard drive at the same time for RISC-V, I lost entire data. Some company will say, we have a free data recovery service for you. But think about, if this is not education, this is a military, this is a government. You are not allowed to put this hard drive to the company to ask someone to recover your top secret data there, right? So
True.
yep, go ahead. So that's why, yeah, oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just saying it's true.
Yeah, so don't, yes, it's true. So don't rely on data recovery, okay? Protect yourself at the beginning. So why I'm saying that is, even for yourself, back up your important data. For us, the most important data is our photo, right? Our picture, everything is in the phone. Make sure you back them up. For department, we also back up our data because in our recently were, hack your PC, right? Hijack your PC. Now let's say the personal PC here. Hijack your PC. A long time ago, the hacker will say, I'm going to destroy your hard drive. That's for fun, destroy your Windows. But now they don't do that, right? They hijack your hard drive. They put a password, they encrypt your hard drive and ask you to pay the Bitcoin to recover it.
Generally, the ransom is $300 per machine.
Yeah, that's true. If this is a bad guy, this is our world, right? This is your PC. The bad guy get in and put a code, encrypt your hard drive and your laptop, and ask you to pay Bitcoin at $300 to this guy. This happening a few years ago, right? All over the world. And if you are another smart hack. I see another guy is. If I'm another hack, after this guy lock your hard drive, this hack will also get in and change the money destination. Say, don't send to that address, send to this address. So the victim will send the money to another hack. And finally, the question say, where's my key? And the first hack will say, I didn't receive your money. So what's this attack? We say this attack is kind of the man in the middle. So this man is in the middle between the hack and you. And this guy is hijack your money. So this is something here. So that's why I said now the data is become very, very valuable, your personal data or the company data. So always back them up. So when you do backup, they have this way called 3-2-1. If you do this, backup 3-2-1. Okay, so if you have a chance, just go review this. Why 3-2-1 backup rule? Oh, this is suck. Okay. But this is regular rule we follow, 3-2-1 backup. Some backup is real-time online, some backup is offline. Offline means you copy to the hard drive and you disconnect it, put in closure or put in somewhere. It's offline backup. Yeah. Okay. Always protect yourself, because I see someone, one of my friend has a portable Seagate spinning hard drive. He has a laptop. He used this one, but accidentally he dropped this hard drive to the floor. Boom. And all the data are lost. So people said, you still can't recover your data, but recover this one may cost you $1,000. And this hard drive, the value of this portable hard drive is only cost maybe 100. But recover the data inside may cost you 10 times than the value of your hard drive. So I told my friends that if I were you, I just buy 2 hard drive, right? $200, fix my issue. I don't need to spend $1,000, and they cannot guarantee all the data can be recovered. And if you have some top secret document inside, you cannot ask someone to recover the data for you, right? Because this guy may have all the information about your personal photo, whatever. So just like I said, if you can do at least 2 copies for yourself, spend a little bit more money. It's much better to recover it later, right? Another one is one more thing. It's already 4 o'clock. Finish that. I'm going to call today's end. How to say that? Sometimes people, if you go to a security conference meeting in here, Halifax or somewhere, most people talking about said, oh, I like to buy the junk from eBay. I buy junk router, junk switch, junk server. And people will say, why you want this junk? You are the rich guy, you can buy brand new high-end server. Why you buy this junk? But people said, this security guy said, you don't know how much valuable stuff inside this junk. If this is a server from company A, when you buy from eBay, this is hard drive, right? Before they throw to the eBay, someone already formatted. So when you format the hard drive, you assume everything's safe, all the data gone. But you know, there's a technology you can recover the data from the hard drive easily. You can do it, I can do it, basic one. Just simple hard drive, scan the entire hard drive. So most cases you can, if they do simple format, you can recover almost, oh yeah, sure, okay. If you need to go, you can just go, okay? So this is something extra I'm talking here. So no worry, okay? You can easily recover it. That's why people love to do this junk, because they get lots of companies information from this junk. I give you a basic idea. If you get a chance to visit Halifax, or if you are already in Halifax, you know we have some second-hand store or junk store or thrift store. Sometimes you buy very cheap stuff. So one time I go there, they have a plastic bag, and inside they have some cable, USB cable. I don't need it, but I saw this SD card, and it's big, 32 gig, and with some other cables inside this bag. This one only costs $2. I say, okay, I will buy this bag. Because first thing I know, this SD card is more than $2. And second thing is I really want to see what is inside. Right? So you bring this bag home, you open it, you plug this SD card to the Windows. Yes, empty. Someone already formatted. But when you run the data recovery software, I get all the picture from this window SD card, around 200 pictures. Some graduation picture, some personal life picture. You know, from this picture, you know where this guy living, because from the university, you know the city. And from the street name, you know where this guy living, right? What is this guy's face, father, mother, whatever picture, everything is there. All your personal data here. So you may say, why do people become that stupid, right? So you should understand what's happening when you format your hard drive, or how the recovered data is running. Let's see, first thing, let's say this is your hard drive, you run Windows here, right? You have your Windows data, and suddenly you say, I have a picture, I copy paste a picture. The picture will start with 10101. Okay, so this is one picture, and the rest is your Windows data. After you see this picture, you say, no, I don't like it, it's ugly. So you say, tell Windows, please delete this picture for me. The first thing they will put in the recycle box, and you say, please totally delete